Terry Durham was born May 3rd of 1945 in Portland, Oregon, into a sports-loving family. The Durhams moved to McMinnville in the summer of 1948 because Terry's dad, Paul, got the head football coaching position at Linfield College. The following year, Paul would become the athletic director and founding father of the Wildcats' proud football heritage. 1956 was the first of Linfield's astonishing 43 consecutive winning seasons. With the foundation for the love of sports laid by Paul, Terry seemed destined for a life devoted to athletics.
Terry, as a child, I knew he was going to be an athlete because his main obsession was hanging around the ball players, the gym, the football too. You know, he loved it. In fact, he was kind of a pest, to tell you the truth.
His dad, Paul Durham, who was the football coach at Linfield, was the American Legion baseball coach. And when we would either be having practice or when we were having a game, I still remember Terry. He would be coming over and he'd have a t-shirt and shorts on and be barefooted. He might have been out playing in the mud or the dust or the dirt, but he was always trying to bum money off of you. And he'd come up to you and he'd say, "Hey buddy, you got a nickel?" "Terry, get away from me." "No, hey, I need a nickel." "Terry, what do you need a nickel for?" "Because I got to get some candy over at Combs Market." And pretty soon he'd come back and he'd show you how much money he'd collected from either the players or the people that were in the stands so he could go get something to eat at Combs Market. And I know he won't forget that.
For 10 years, I ran the summer recreation down here in the park and the softball program. And Terry was always part of that. But if there was a gym open someplace, you could count on Terry Durham being there.
By the time he became a sophomore at McMinnville High School, Terry had turned into an excellent three-sport athlete. With his knowledge of each sport being perhaps his best asset, Terry was an extension of the coach on each team he played for. Terry was a natural leader, so it was fitting that he would perform at quarterback in football, point guard in basketball, and shortstop in baseball. His sophomore basketball season went well for Terry as he was third on the team in field goal percentage and fourth in scoring. His junior year, Terry moved into the starting quarterback role and had an excellent season. The team took second in league and Durham took home the junior MVP award. Now also a starter in basketball, Terry helped the Grizzlies win the league championship with a 16-win and 2-loss season. They upset the number 1 ranked North Eugene Highlanders in the first round of the state tournament behind Terry, who was the game's leading scorer with 20 points, including the game-winning basket with seconds left. The Bears went on to go 2 up and 2 down in the playoffs, which was good for 7th in state. Terry capped off a great junior year in baseball as the team took second in league and Durham won all league honors. He led the league in runs, hits, RBIs, and had the second best batting average with .374. Terry's great play continued as a senior, helping his football and baseball teams achieve second in league, while he earned all league honors in all 3 sports. The basketball team finished the season over 500, but their highest point of the year was when they beat Tigard, who would end up taking second place at the state tournament.
Terry was always a leader. It didn't matter if you were a senior and he was a sophomore. Because of growing up with Jeff and his knowledge of athletics and with his father, Paul, Terry was a great leader on the field. He would direct you or tell you what needed to be done to win, and you always saw his leadership skills come out on the athletic field.
Terry knew every aspect of the game in all sports as far as I was concerned. Knowledge of the game, he would remind kids in practice, here is where you go, that's what the play is set up for. He knew the positions and knew where the kids were supposed to be, even as a freshman.
He was kind of like a coach on the floor. He was a very smart player, and I don't think Terry ever played any game that you didn't get his very, very best effort, and he certainly didn't accept that from any of his teammates either. If they gave less than their best effort, they were probably going to hear about it from him.
He was the type of athlete that you were glad that he was on your team, because Terry was scrappy, tenacious, all those things, and he was the first athlete that I played with that was really vocal, and that's a kind of an identifying characteristic of Terry's athletic career, was that he was the first athlete that I played with that I'd question myself and I'd say, did Terry really say that, or can he say that?
The kids sometimes called him the mouth because he was always talking, but what he was saying was important. It's just that he talked a lot. Terry's the kind of kid that If I hadn't seen him in 4 or 5 years and I ran into him at a game, it's as if we talked the day before. So we've always been very close friends.
After graduating from Mac High as a Letterman's Club president in 1963, Terry pursued a lifelong goal of playing for his dad when he enrolled at Linfield College. Even though he made the varsity team in all 3 of his sports, freshman year was hard for Terry. He was learning the ropes at the collegiate level and didn't see much playing time, and an injury kept him from participating the majority of that baseball season. In football, the other players did not accept him due to his affiliation with their head coach. They called him CS, or coach's son, and from then on it was obvious to Terry that he was going to have to work twice as hard as anyone else in order to prove himself worthy of a spot on that team.
Being a coach's son is a tough deal. I know, because I had 2 boys. And you're expected to be at the same standard your dads are. So it was tough on Terry. They loved him eventually. At first it was tough, and tough playing for your own dad.
There were times when, he'd take a little heat, being a coach's son, but he proved himself.
He did just that in his sophomore football season, as Durham became the second-string quarterback and almost tripled his total yards gained and touchdown passes from the year before. Terry helped the Wildcats to an undefeated regular season and a conference championship. Unfortunately for Terry, another injury would keep him out of the entire basketball season and most of his sophomore baseball campaign. Now healthy for the start of his junior football season, Terry earned the role of starting quarterback. This was his chance to prove that he deserved to be there, and that's exactly what he did by having another much improved season. He passed for over 75 yards per game and rushed for another 15, while earning All Northwest Conference Quarterback of the Year award. He led the Wildcats to another conference championship, and this time in the national playoffs they went all the way to the title game. Though they came up shy of the championship, Terry and Linfield ended a great year as the number 2 team in the nation. After the long football season, Terry chose to play intramural basketball instead of for the school in order to rest his tired body. He truly benefited from that decision during his junior baseball season as he worked his way into being the starting first baseman. He was an excellent teammate on a great team and was having his best year yet for Linfield baseball, as the Wildcats went on to win not only their conference but also the national championship. Terry followed up an amazing junior year with one of the best senior football seasons Linfield has ever seen. He passed for over 180 yards per game, completing over 50% of his passes thrown. He ended the season with almost 1,700 yards gained, which was a new school record. He was awarded his second straight Conference Quarterback of the Year award, along with All-American Honorable Mention selection. Even though Terry, who was allowed by the coaching staff to call the team's plays in the huddle, led the Wildcats to a great 7-win and 2-loss season, they took second league, thus ending his tremendous football career at Linfield. It was a career that remains in the record books to this day, with Terry ranked 15th all-time in total yards per game, 13th all-time in total career yards, 12th all-time in pass completions as well as per game passing yards, and 10th all-time in pass completions per game. After finishing one of the best quarterbacking careers Linfield has ever seen, Terry probably thought that his senior year couldn't get any better. While he was again competing in intramural basketball, 7 players on the Wildcat basketball team were suspended indefinitely by Coach Ted Wilson for misbehavior. Coach Wilson immediately called upon Terry to step in as the newly constructed team's leader. Though he had not played collegiate basketball since his freshman year, Terry rose to the challenge and became the second leading scorer on the team, as well as their on- and off-court leader. Under the circumstances, no one expected anything from this team that was thrown together overnight. No one, that is, except Terry. Due to his passion for competition and unwillingness to lose, Terry led the team to a conference and district championship and a national playoff appearance while achieving all-league honorable mention.
It was really Terry that brought that team together. And they went on. I think they won the championship. I'm not sure. But they had a marvelous season. And it was all because of Terry.
Oh, there's no question. He was the team leader. I don't think that we would have won without him playing. I think he was definitely the catalyst of the season we had, because he just didn't go into any game expecting that he could possibly lose.
In the national tournament, the Wildcats were scheduled to play the eventual national champions in the first game. Once again, Linfield competed beyond expectations, losing by only 1 basket. Terry capped off a storybook career at Linfield by staying healthy all baseball season, while the team took second place in the conference championship game. After graduating from Linfield in 1967 with his education degree, Terry decided to continue pursuing his love for athletics. He obtained a tryout with the Chicago Bears of the National Football League, which went well, and Terry was eventually signed by a minor league affiliate, the Victoria Lions of the Continental Football League. Durham played 1 season as the Lions starting quarterback in British Columbia before returning to Linfield in 1968 to earn his master's degree. In 1969, Terry again tried out for the Chicago Bears, and this time they offered him a spot on their roster, but unfortunately Terry was battling with a knee injury that forced him to retire from the sport. Following the tryout, he returned to Linfield and took the job of assistant football coach and scout under new head coach Ad Rutschman. By the end of 1969, Terry achieved his master's degree and was hired to teach at Forest Grove. Starting in 1970 and continuing for the next 8 years, Terry continued to pursue athletics in a new way by refereeing basketball games in his free time. Officiating was a passion of his that began in junior high, but now he was pursuing past the high school and college levels by applying to the National Basketball Association. 8 years of rejection would have discouraged most people, but Terry's persistence finally paid off in 1978 when he was given the opportunity to become an NBA official.
At that time, McMinnville had a officials organization here, and I was kind of the head of it in the basketball area. And so Terry came to me one time in college and said he'd like to break in. And so we broke him in as a JV official. But to be a good official, you need to have good signals, you need to have command, you need to look the part and have a voice that says, I know what I'm doing. Terry had all of those.
It took a few seasons for Terry to adapt to the speed of the game and the tough traveling lifestyle. He would often officiate 18 to 25 games each month, all of which were in a different city from one game to the next.
The NBA ran from the November 1st until June or whatever, and I probably watched the game because he was officiating, not because I was interested in the two teams, because I just wanted to watch him and the way he ran the floor and the way he controlled the game. He was great. I mean, he just didn't take any crap off of anybody. It didn't matter if it was Magic Johnson or who. He was going to run the show, and they needed to know that, and I think most of the players respected him for that.
As the years went by, Terry's love for the game and skills as an official became stronger and stronger. With great resilience, Terry eventually became a crew chief, which meant he was the lead official for each game he refereed. But season after season of running up and down the court with some of the world's greatest athletes began to take a toll on Terry's body. He battled with knee problems for several years, never allowing it to get the best of him. In 2000, Terry was given the greatest honor an NBA official can receive, the opportunity to officiate Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Best. Crozier delivers a splattering screen on Fisher, and now Terry Durham blows the whistle. This Crozier is a rugged customer.
This was great, though, because Derek Fisher just tried to run into the screen and flop back and draw the attention. The referee would not bite on it. Then Crozier sees the mismatch, goes right into the post. Fisher locks him up, and he gets the foul. That was great refereeing by Terry Durham there.
Later that year, Terry was inducted into Linfield's Athletic Hall of Fame due to his outstanding sports career. Terry decided to leave the game on a high note, so in 2001, he retired from a lifetime in sports. He has spent the last 24 seasons officiating one of the fastest, most physical, and more popular sports in America and on the world's biggest stage.